All right, Masterpiece Cake Shop owner Jack Phillips was back in court this week fighting his third case for merely wanting to live out his faith through his business without the state compelling him to celebrate occasions that violate his deeply held faith. This is the third trial that he's now had, this time with the Colorado Supreme Court, where he had oral arguments this week. And now he joins me with Alliance Defending Freedom Senior Counsel Jake Warner, who argued the case. So Jack and Jake, welcome back to the show. Always great to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, first let me just say, Jack, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for standing. How are you doing?
We're doing great. The arguments, I think, went really well, and we're all in a good, positive mind.
Well, good for you. Well, listen, all of us, millions, have so much respect for you, and we're deeply grateful. All right, Jack, all right, tell us what came out of the courtroom this week.
Well, on Tuesday, we argued before the Colorado Supreme Court advocating free speech is for everyone. You might remember a few years back, a local Denver attorney asked Jack to create a custom cake, blue on the outside and pink on the inside, that would celebrate a transition from male to female. Jack serves people from all backgrounds, but that's a message that he can't express for anyone. And in the courts below, the courts ruled that Jack could be punished for declining to express that message. And we've had to appeal all the way up to the Colorado Supreme Court now, where we are advocating free speech is for everyone, and the government should not be able to force people like Jack to express messages they don't believe.
So, Jake, what do you make of this, I don't know, continual, a nonstop push that comes from the left against people of faith?
Yeah, for the past 10 years or so, government officials and activists have been misusing state law to force people like Jack to express messages they don't believe. It's a misuse of the law, and thankfully, just last year, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 303 Creative that the government can't misuse the law to force people to say things they don't believe. We're very hopeful that the Colorado Supreme Court will heed that precedent and apply it to protect Jack in this case. We hope that this harassment will stop once and for all.
Well, we all sure hope so. Jack, back to you. What would you say to those who may be facing similar opposition across the country? I don't know that anyone's been through it like you have. What would you say to others who are facing similar issues?
Well, first, I'd like to say, just confirm what Jake said, that we serve everybody at Masterpiece Cake Shop, but we just aren't able to express every message that people want us to with our custom cakes. And that was the case with this one. But we already knew, we had decided way before we opened over 30 years ago that there were certain cakes that we would not be able to create. And among them would be cakes with profanity on them, different things like that. But it was always the message of the cake, not the person asking for it. So just to answer your question, what would I advise people? It's like, know what your boundaries are and don't step over them.
Yeah, and stand up when they're challenged. Jake, what are you expecting from here? What kind of having gone through it, what's your expectation from the court?
Well, we're very hopeful walking out of the courtroom on Tuesday. The U.S. Supreme Court has decisively resolved this issue last year, showing that the government can't force artists to express things that they don't believe. The Colorado Supreme Court should faithfully apply that precedent to protect Jack in this case. Indeed, as the arguments went on, I think you could see justices understanding the critical issue that's at stake in this case, because if the government can force Jack to express messages that he doesn't believe, say the government changes hands, and it could be other people with different views being forced to express ideas that go against their beliefs. For example, we don't think the government should force an LGBT website designer to create custom websites criticizing views of marriage that they believe. Free speech is for everyone, and we're very hopeful that Jack is going to get justice at the end here.
Well, that's a great argument. Do you have any sense of timing on this, how soon we might learn a decision?
No, there's no particular deadline here, and I expect the court to take its time and try to get the decision right. So we're looking at probably at least a few months away.
Wow. Well, Jack, what do you Let me ask you this, because we have tons of people on right now who've been following your cases for years. How can our audience be praying for you right now?
I think a lot of the prayer should go to the judges. They have a big task ahead of them. They want to get the decision right, and they want to make sure they write it all correctly so that the laws that they enforce here are laws that we can all live with, and freedom is maintained for all Americans.
Well, that's a great prayer, and I appreciate you directing the prayer to the judges. We certainly need to be placing our focus and our attention there. So certainly right now, all our viewers and listeners, I want to encourage you to do that. Jake, let me come back to you on what kind of impact would this decision from Colorado have across the country, and whatever decision they come to, what kind of rippling effect might we expect?
Well, certainly for the people in Colorado, a win for Jack would be a win for all people. It would confirm that Colorado officials cannot misuse state law to punish people that they disagree with. Free speech would truly be for everyone. Of course, if this case doesn't come out the right way, we would appeal up to the U.S. Supreme Court, where we hope that the court would reaffirm 303 Creative's holding that free speech is for everyone and put an end to this injustice.
Well, and you're certainly no stranger there, that's for sure. But I tell you, this has been one of those cases that so many of us have followed for years and years. And Jack, I know some of my time in Congress, it was good to meet you and personally see and speak with you as this battle was going on. But here it is yet again. Our prayers are with you. Our gratitude is with you. This is a case, as you well know, both of you, that is, Jack, it goes far beyond you. This impacts every one of us, and it sets a pathway of religious liberties across our country. So yet again, thank you for your courage. Thank you for standing up, and Jake, you and all of you at ADF, we're deeply grateful. Thank you both for joining us today on Washington Watch.